That 11 o'clock advisory just in for Tropical Storm Melissa as it continues to basically sit in place between Aruba to the south and the islands of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico to the north. It's moving at about 2 miles an hour. It's not moving at all, essentially, but you can see that northerly component there showing that the direction is starting to shift. The issue is that as the storm sits and even grazes those northern islands, they're adding up in terms of rainfall, and this situation is going to only get worse. So let's just jump to the bottom line. The storm formed yesterday. It's still a tropical storm. We're not looking at a rapid intensification situation here. It will likely become a Cat 1 or Cat 2 hurricane by weekend, but where's the impact going to be? Hispaniola, Jamaica, Cuba. You say, you're the meteorologist, why are you raising this question? Well, when I do my little meteorological stuff over here, you're going to see why. Let's take a look at these spaghetti plots. They have gone crazy. Some take it further to the west, others take it directly to the north. Obviously, that to the north track or that northern trajectory would mean that impacts will be felt at their greatest along the southern coast of Hispaniola, specifically impacting the country of Haiti. Dominican Republic included in the bunch there. However, there's generally been a shift to the west, and the National Hurricane Center's forecast is now reflecting that shift of the modeling westward. So let's take a look at this cone here. And to call it a cone is just using historical terminology here, because this is no cone, this is a bubble. Yeah. Look at that turn there once again to the west as it continues to move to the north. But as we get deeper into the weekend, Saturday into Sunday, that Cat 2, that's a new update with that 11 a.m. advisory, it firmly puts Jamaica inside the cone. Now, we know this is going to change, especially with modeling that is so inconsistent, just to be quite blunt about it. Here's the deal. It's not a matter of wind with this situation. It's a matter of where does the most intense rain bands sit. So the storm is going to move, meander. We're talking about maybe some 50 miles over the next 5 days. But it's all about where it ultimately decides to camp out, and then what position are the islands of Jamaica and Hispaniola on in relation to its actual position. So it's always the right side that's the dirty side of the storm. So look here. If the storm sits up based on the way the modeling is right now, the ire is going to be on the Dominican Republic and Haiti, specifically over a mountainous region that does not do well with heavy rainfall. You're talking about up to 21 inches of rainfall over the next 4 to 5 day period. That means that flash floods and mudslides all over the place. It would be pervasive there. But we can't even rule out the, once again, the eastern tip of Cuba for some possible impacts down there. And Alex, like many of our viewers, you and I have both spent time at probably all of those islands.
Still waiting on Jamaica.
Yeah,
haven't
still
made
waiting
it to
on Jamaica
yet.
there.
Yeah.
But if you are able, just trying to draw some connections here to what you may understand at home or wherever you may be at this hour, if you've been outside the resort areas or outside the kind of the tourist bubble, you understand one thing about the rural areas in Cuba and in Hispaniola. The infrastructure is not like it is here in the United States. So there's only so much that these locations can take to sustain what they already have going. And so this is going to be a copious rainmaker. Once again, we're not concerned about the winds or how high they will go at this point, but it's all about the positioning and the track of this storm and where it stops. Now, I will show you this one last thing, Alex, before we leave you here.
Okay.
I want to take out the spaghetti plots. And okay, we see how they're kind of divergent to a degree, but I want you to follow a couple models that are going far to the west, one even taking the storm over the Cayman Islands. There's another one joining it as well, and looks to make a path through, potentially.
Is this essentially showing us that no one really knows this storm's path? Is that what this is trying to indicate?
It tells us that the path is uncertain. But I want you to see those two models there that go over the Cayman Islands or nearby. If it takes the path through western Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, it puts it in the Gulf, and that changes the story for everybody, especially across the western and the southern United States.
It certainly does.
So don't let your guard down is essentially what we're saying altogether.
Yeah,
If you have
stay
travel
tuned,
plans or
essentially.
interests,
Yeah.
in Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Haiti, yes, those impacts are going to be immediate within the next 72 hours. They'll come to fruition. We'll figure out there. But if that thing starts jogging further and further to the north, the waters are warm enough. There's not really a lot of frontal action. That thing is going to take a path that could take it once again into the Gulf, and that's just a totally different story.
Yeah, and that's why I say stay tuned. That means
Yes.
you need to pay attention just in case it does
Just in
take that
case.
specific route.
And the deal is, Alex, that would be, look at the model. It says Sunday midnight. So we'd have the remainder of the day Sunday to go. When a storm gets in the Gulf, here's the deal. It has nowhere to go except to make landfall. It's going to make landfall somewhere. Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, a slither of Alabama, Florida. Where does he go after that? Well, we know Milton, Helene, Michael, they all found their ways in different paths, but they impacted inland and interior areas, and that same thing could happen here.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate that breakdown, Jonathan. And I've learned a new phrase, spaghetti plots. I
Spaghetti plots.
appreciate that.